Hi everyone, welcome to the 12th episode of Two Friendless Friends. I think just as usual before we start, let's get some catch-up time with Flora.
Hi everyone.
So what's been happening?
Well, it's Flexi Week, but by the time this is out, it will be end of Flexi Week. But
Yeah.
I think that it's good because I honestly really needed that catch-up time. I feel pretty behind on honestly everything, but like that's like who
isn't?
who isn't, right?
Like, if you're doing 2 courses, then like I get it. If you're not, like if you're behind and you're only doing 2 courses, I'm worried for you.
No, that was me last term. I swear I
But-
was doing 2 and I was behind.
You were doing 2 last time?
Yeah, I did 2 psychs.
I was doing 3.
Yeah, because you were planning on doing 2, so I was like, yeah, why not? I'll just do 2.
Wait, what? I was never planning on doing 2.
Yeah, you were.
No, I was like, I'm just doing 3 all the time.
Oh, wait, is that your plan?
I told you I'm overloading.
Like 3 till grad?
3, and then like probably 4th year I'll slow down because then there's a big project.
For comp.
There's like one of the courses is like just a very big project.
Ah, okay. Well, if I do 3, that means I can, and if the courses are offered in all the terms that I want, that means that I will be able to graduate. That means I'll finish 2023, like term 3, 2023. But I don't think that'll happen. So probably 2024, term 1. But it's okay.
It's okay.
What about you? What's going on in your life?
I mean, like, there's something going on in both our lives that we haven't addressed. The floods.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's been raining so much.
Oh, the other day when we were at uni.
Okay, so the other day, like last Saturday, we were both at uni for an event, like the Med Review event. And was it really raining when you arrived?
Oh, yeah, it was. I think when I got to Central, it was really bad. But then when I got to UNSW High Street stop on the light rail, it was okay enough for me to not have to open my umbrella, but I did
Really?
anyway since it was already wet.
Oh, because when I arrived, which was a bit later
It
than
was
Kelly,
pouring buckets.
it was so bad, and I had to walk the long way because it was literally flooding, and I couldn't walk through that pathway.
And you weren't wearing
Yeah, my
good
shoes were
for
like
rain.
soaked with
Yeah,
water.
because like, I don't know, right now, I have work this afternoon, right? And I have to walk there, and I'm just praying that the rain doesn't get worse. Because if it does, I don't know how I'm going to walk to work.
And at least we don't even have it that bad though, because like around
like-
the Hawkesbury area,
We don't
Para,
have it bad. Imagine what it would be like for the people that, like, if it's already, like, technically not the worst situation for us, we're, like, actually the optimal situation.
Yeah.
Imagine what it's like in the worst.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's disturbing us the most is just that, like, well, I guess for my family, it's like we can't hang the clothes up. It's just raining. We have to, you know, like it's not like the
Our
worst
clothes aren't drying in
situation.
time.
Yeah. Like, oh, we have to drive carefully. But, like, there's people who can't... I know, like, Wasu, Hawkesbury is closed temporarily because it's been flooded a bit. And, like, there's actual houses that's been flooded and they don't even have a place to sleep. So, I mean, they probably do, but,
Yeah.
like, they're not sleeping in their homes. So,
The suburb that my dad works in was under evacuation warning. So, like,
which suburb?
no one even... Wetherill Park.
Oh, yeah.
It was on the news last night for warning, but it wasn't evacuation. So who knows if he's gonna just randomly turn up at home halfway through the day because where he works had to close.
But it gets better Wednesday, Thursday. I think it gets better, and then it's raining a bit after that.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll match to this weekend.
Yeah. Anyway, so we might actually jump into this episode today, which has nothing to do with rain. Actually, no, before we jump into this
You have your question,
episode,
right?
Yes, I have a question. So, like we do every week, I start off with a question.
I'm never emotionally or mentally prepared for your questions, you know? Sometimes they just hit.
I'm never prepared for the questions. Like, for example...
You know them.
I make up the questions. So this week I made up my own question. But like I never really have an answer. And same with this week. I don't know, like I do have an answer, but I don't know if I can say it. But anyway, I'll just ask it anyway. So comparing this time exactly like last year, so 23rd of March 2020, how have you changed?
Oh, this time last year was when
Quarantine.
uni was just shutting down, and
Yeah, it was
because
flexi.
like it was like flexi, and then like at the end of flexi, like most of the lecturers were sending out stuff about some stuff moving online, and then like beginning of week 7 was when the uni itself was like, okay, we're shutting down.
Yeah. So this was like not peak.
It was heading towards the peak.
But this was like the start of everything.
Yeah, this was when like panic buying and everything really started.
Yeah.
I mean, like this time last year, I was just like, yay, I get to be at home. I don't have to travel to uni, because my timetable for the first term of first year was horrible, since most of my courses only offered like one slot for certain things, and like barely any different options for like tutorial class times, and they were all on different days. So I was going to uni like 4 days a week or something, because there was this one course that had 2 tutorials a week.
Oh, you had to go just for that one tut?
Yeah, and it was like, and the days that it was offered didn't match the other 2 tutorials I had to go to. Like, none of them were offered on the same day, and even if they were, the times overlapped. So, like, I was going to uni all the time, and I had 9 a.m.s.
Yeah. I think term 1's the last time I ever had a 9 a.m.
Yes. Oh no, I did have 9 a.m.s, but like 9 a.m.s at home and 9 a.m.s on campus are very different things.
What time do you wake up to go to uni?
Back then?
For 9 a.m.s, yeah.
6:30.
Same.
I was like out of the house by like 7:20 something.
Yeah.
Well, like the thing is, I say 6:30, but that was just when the alarm was set, not necessarily when I got out of bed. But yeah, that was an interesting time. I guess what's changed about me is I've gotten lazier.
Honestly, though, I don't even think you're to blame. Like, everyone has gotten lazier. Everyone's adapted to this new lifestyle of just, like, we've been forced to stay at home for a few months. So everyone's just kind of gotten used to it. You know, like, if we had the option to go out or do a meeting through Zoom, I feel like a lot of people would have opted for the Zoom option. Yeah. Anything else changed, though?
Probably, like, I'm just not even scared anymore. I'm just done. Like, I'm just straight up done with everything.
Be more specific.
Well, like, I think at the beginning, well, like, I don't think I particularly was very scared about the pandemic, because, full disclosure, I was actually in China when it started.
Yeah.
Like, so the biggest fear for me at that point was because right after I got back to Macau from China, I got really sick. Like, I had a fever, I had a cold, and we just found out that there was that disease. Like, at that point, it was just like some random sickness. Like, there was nothing really identified about it, but like we found out about it, and we were just like panicking about not really like how serious this disease was, because we didn't know back then. Like, no information was really released. So we were just like hanging around, hoping that we could get through Hong Kong airport to get to Vietnam, because I was meant to fly like 2 days after, right?
Yeah.
So like I was just stuck at home, not at home, my cousin's place, like for the entire day, and he had to look after me.
Yeah.
That was an interesting time. Even if I had coronavirus, I wouldn't know.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I think that experience kind of numbed me because I think that was just the peak of me being scared about it, because I think that was the closest I got to getting COVID.
Plus, yeah, like being in China would have been scarier.
Yeah. And now that, like, I think back about it, like, I would have been even more scared if there was more information released. Probably because, like, I'm just not familiar with kind of coronaviruses and diseases, like, in terms of, it's just never happened in my lifetime. Especially, like, SARS was, like, when was it? Like, 2000 and something. Yeah, it was early 2000s. It's just that I never, like, experienced anything like that, and also, like, even if stuff like that did happen back then, the news wasn't as widespread.
Yeah, but I don't think that like, if we were to replay that, it would have just happened the same, because no one really had any information to share out. That's what I believe, unless they purposely kept it from us.
Wasn't there, like, that thing about China kept SARS quiet until it hit Hong Kong?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it only
Yeah,
really got
too.
public when it hit Hong Kong, right?
I don't really remember. I just remember hearing about, like, I was in the hotel room with my friend Jane, and then I'm pretty sure she got a call from her parents, and I think I also got around the exact same time, I got a call from not a call, I got a text from my family, and that's how we found out. But I don't actually remember, like, the news, because I heard the news from them, not from, like, news sources.
I don't even know who found out first, but it was either my cousin or my cousin's friend, but one of them, because we all went to China together, and one of them was like, oh, this happened, and we were, like, scared, because, like, we were literally, like, we weren't anywhere near the center of the outbreak, because we were in Guangzhou, and, like, at that point, I don't think COVID had spread to Guangzhou, but, like, no one really knew. Everything was so vague. Because at that point, it was just, like, China in general. No, like, there was no really, like, really big pinpoint, like, it's only in this area right now.
Is Wuhan north?
Central. It's, like, closer to the middle.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
I think there was just a huge lack of information for, like, especially for people that were just there. So, like, all we knew was it was in China, and we were just in China, honestly. And I don't know, at the same time, let me tell you a funny story. I don't think it's funny, it's kind of, like, concerning, but when I was flying back to Australia, it was, like, end of January. So at that point, like, there was all the cancelled flights to and from China, if you remember that, and people were starting to wear masks in the airports, and so I was wearing a mask too, because, like, who knows, because I was transiting in Hong Kong, who knows where other people have been, you know, like, because it's like everyone's transferring there, and we were wearing masks. We had a few extras in my bag. We literally had N95 masks too. I don't know why my cousin bought those.
Yeah.
And every time I say cousin, it sounds like I'm referring to the same person, but it's not. I have 22 cousins. But basically, we got on the plane back from Hong Kong back to Sydney, right? And the thing is, everyone was wearing masks. There was even these two girls that were wearing raincoats.
See, but now that you say the story, sorry, I know you haven't finished, but like when you say that, it's like not weird at all. Like, oh, people wearing masks. Yeah, I know.
It's not weird, but at that point, like, no, wearing masks, I feel like it was pretty normal because while I was in Vietnam, like, people were wearing masks too. People normally wear masks. But the raincoat was
I thought they were wearing it
extreme
because
for me,
of
because I'm like
rain. Oh wait, it's in the airport. Was it raining outside?
it was on the plane.
Oh, on the. Oh, sorry.
There were just these two girls walking around wearing raincoats.
They're just being safe, you know. Better safe than sorry, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, at that point, no one knew.
Yeah,
it was like. There was mixed information coming out. People saying that, like, oh no, it's not transferred like human to human. Some like sources were saying, oh, it's human to human transfer.
Oh yeah. There was so much information that just contradicted with one another.
Yeah, so like at that point, we were just like, oh, do you? Like, we don't know anything.
Yeah.
We're just wearing the mask because we were told that we should. But basically, the thing is.
Mm-hmm.
We were on that plane for like 8 hours, right? The moment everyone got off in Sydney, they took off their masks.
Oh, like Sydney Airport?
Like, literally, you know the bridge thingy that you get off? People were taking off their masks there, and I'm like, bro, like, it's not like you're far enough from other people to not catch it if it's like human-to-human transmission. And, like, you were literally with these people for 8 hours and you decided to wear a mask then. But what's the difference that, like, just because you land on the ground in Australia, then coronavirus is gone? Like, I found that kind of funny.
Yeah, but people in Australia
ironic.
didn't really take it seriously. As in, like, compared to Asian countries. Because, like, even in Asia, like, wearing masks is a very normal thing, right? Like, when you're sick, when you're sniffly, you just wear a mask.
It's like, no,
regularly.
not even sick. It's just wear it because the pollution and the air quality is so bad. Like, it's bad for your skin, so people wear masks all the time. But it's just funny because, like, you were on the same plane with those people for 8 hours, but they decided to wear a mask, and then the moment you land in Sydney, they decide to not wear a mask when you're still, like, stuck in big crowds with them.
Yeah,
'Cause
I guess so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I might just answer that question for myself too, and then we'll get into the actual topic, which you guys should know by the title. It's about racism, because that's a big topic that's been going around the media lately. But so a year ago, I don't exactly remember like the date, but I know that around this time, I think it was really bad for me. Because it was the start of quarantine, and I was really like extremely extroverted back then, and I needed to talk to people, and it was just really bad that I couldn't have I couldn't see people. And I remember feeling the exact same thing even after HSC, when I didn't get to see that many people as often. I was like, I need
everyone
to see.
like split up. Yeah.
So there was that, and then there was a few things about, I think there was like some like family stuff, because I was stuck at home all the time. I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I didn't realize this before quarantine, but I used to just go to the library this is so deep. I used to just go to the library just to like escape. It's not that bad. I was just dramatic.
Like, just to not be at home.
Yeah. And I was like, I can't go to the library. This is sad. And then I don't know if it was like 23rd of March, but definitely like 28th and 27th, I was like, I don't like this.
Did it all get better on the 29th?
It did actually. No, I'm pretty sure it got better like 28th, like around midnight time. No, like actually though, because no, okay, not even midnight. Like I'm pretty sure it was like 10 p.m. on the 28th. Because like I'm pretty sure you can guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can guess.
Oh, I
but
know.
either
I know
way,
what happened.
If you can't
Wait,
guess,
I know.
I just
Actually,
won't.
no. I know.
What happened?
Let's not mention it here. I don't think you want me to say it here. But
Wait, just no, I don't actually mind. But like, just like give like slight details.
happy birthday.
Oh yeah. But it wasn't exactly like a birthday. It was just like talking. But anyway,
Yeah, that was what I was trying to refer to. But yeah.
But over time, like a year later, I would say that from 2020 to 2021, I've definitely gone through some character development. And I've definitely changed a lot.
You met me.
Yeah.
And I've made you spend money because of my shopping habits.
Oh, yeah. We both bought like a $90 bag the other day.
It was $13 cash back, so technically it was like nearly it was like 80 something, under 85.
Okay, true. Fine. Anyway, so like I feel like over the year I've become more in touch with my feelings, I think. So I think that's a good thing. And I've also appreciated learning a lot more, which is a weird thing to like say, I guess, for like, oh, how have you changed? But I don't know, like I definitely have gone through some changes.
I mean, even just for me, like my one big change is my style has changed a lot.
Like fashion style.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, same.
Like, I mean, clearly I have so many new clothes that I'm not wearing because I bought them before and I just never had the chance to wear it. And now, like, I'm trying to sell it at a really low price compared to what I bought it for. But I don't know how that's going to work.
Actually, I don't even think my fashion sense has changed. It's more that I don't have the opportunity to wear those clothes. Because I used to wear, like, very revealing in the top half clothes during, like, I guess parties, whatever, going out. But now that doesn't really exist anymore in my life, I don't really have the chance to wear it. So it's not that my fashion sense has changed, because I'd still wear it. But anyway, okay, so now let's actually get into the topic for today, which is all about racism. Now we're going to dive into, like, the stuff that's been happening in the news recently, as well as like personal events that's happened in our lifetime. So I should have gotten this up.
Oh yeah, I don't have the news articles up.
But you heard about that. It was in America somewhere. I forgot where.
Atlanta, I think.
The grandma. Is that what you're referring to?
Wait, the grandma.
Yeah, so there was a video that was released of this Asian...
Oh, San Francisco.
Oh, yes. So it was a hate crime. So the grandma was I forgot what happened at the start, but then she like fought back.
Wait, I found the article. So it was a 76-year-old Asian woman was attacked by a stranger. And she fought back with a wooden board. So she was waiting at a traffic light when a man punched her in the left eye in a completely unprovoked assault.
Yeah. And then it resulted in, like, you can very clearly see, like, the physical damages.
Yeah.
And, like, there's bruising all around her eyes and, like, around her face.
And on her nose.
I don't know if you've read it, but I clicked on the GoFundMe. It was set up by, I think,
John
like her
Chen.
grandsons.
I don't know
John
who
Chen.
it is. But nearly $900,000 has been raised.
It's so sad because she's a cancer survivor too. And they were saying, like, oh, she's left with, like, PTSD, which is, I guess, not surprising.
And she has also had diabetes for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in America, the health system is so much more expensive than it is in Australia. Because, like, we get free healthcare because we're Australian citizens, but it's not the same in America.
Yeah. So that's really sad. And I read it, and then I was like, okay, I don't want to cry.
And then there was the Atlanta shooting.
Yeah, do you want to go into that?
Not, I don't really want to. So, like, you know what? Did you see the thing about that police officer? And he said, like, that the shooter just had a bad day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that doesn't excuse, like, murder.
No. Yeah.
Like, having a bad day doesn't excuse
He was 21
crime.
years old, too. Right?
I didn't really read about the shooter, but I read about that single mother. I think you've seen the GoFundMe on Facebook, right? On Subtle Asian Traits. And there was a single mother, and she had 2 sons who now have to look after each other because
How old are they?
their mother passed away. And basically, I think the older one is like 17. It's like they're both pretty young. They're both younger than us.
Oh, this is so sad. I feel like I'm gonna cry. It actually is like a really serious issue, though.
Yeah.
And I just can't comprehend how...
It's like, what goes through your mind to make you want to do stuff like that?
Yeah, like
Like, the human brain is somewhat messed up.
But it's really just
bro.
like, I guess... Yeah.
A Vietnamese father struck by a hit-and-run driver is out of coma, still in ICU. Suspect still not found in San Diego.
So this is all happening in America. I'm pretty sure there's stuff happening in Australia too. Oh, I don't know if you remember, but at the start of like when coronavirus was a thing, there was that grandpa that was, I think he was having like some heart attack. It was on like
in Chinatown.
Chinatown, yes.
And people, he had a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
And then like people just didn't do anything about it, didn't call the ambulance because they were like, oh, he's Asian, he probably has coronavirus, let's not get near him and let's not give him CPR, let's not look after him, let's not give him emergency care. It was really messed up.
I didn't realize how this episode would like... Okay. Anyway. It's really sad though, because that's literally someone's life that could have been saved just by a phone call. And I don't know, or just even like approaching him and asking. And I feel like there was no logic to that either. Like the virus doesn't discriminate against races. It's not going to say, oh, you're white, I'm not going to come and enter.
I'm just imagining, you know, the diagram of the coronavirus. I'm just imagining it just having a face and being like, okay, so let's analyze these people's skin color and we'll choose who to infect based on that.
But honestly, that's how people, like, that's how humans think. They're like, oh, based on your skin color, I'm going to treat you like this. And that's
the question is, where did that logic come from?
I don't even know. Because, like, how do you learn to hate on a race, though?
It's just strange, honestly. I don't understand it.
It's probably just, like, because the place that I grew up, like, the school, and I'm pretty sure school has, like, the biggest impact on how you see different cultures and whatever, and learn about cultures. But my primary school, I guess, was pretty multicultural anyway to begin with. So honestly, I never really experienced like direct racism, I guess. But I think I forgot where I was going with this. I actually forgot. But I think like kids just kind of talk about stereotypes, and like they just pass on jokes that they've heard before. You know, Asians have small eyes, and also like on social media, like people just casually make racist jokes. I don't know if you ever remember the scandal about Laura Lee, or I don't know if it was a thing that was outside of the beauty community. Do you know who Laura Lee is?
I've heard of the name. I think I've heard about it, but I don't remember it.
A tweet resurfaced, and it was like one of it was like, oh, I could blindfold an Asian with a toothpick, or was it flossing thing? Anyway, it was something along the lines of that. And then another tweet resurfaced about like black people. It was like they could run faster from the police if they just pulled up their pants a bit more. And like it's just like it's so casually said that it definitely has some kind of influence on the younger kids too, the younger audience, and they're gonna see that and just say, oh, like this is funny. If someone like her, an influencer, someone that big, is okay to say these kind of things, that means like it's okay for me to say it. And I think most times, honestly, it's not even like direct racism. Like, for example, these hate crimes, those are like extremes, right? But most times it's about just very subtle microaggressions that is often overlooked.
It's like people make jokes about race. Like, I mean, to some extent, I don't get that affected by it, but that doesn't mean it's not wrong.
Did you ever, I don't know if you want to answer this, but did you ever not like the color of your skin?
No.
Or want to like change?
No. No matter how much hate I've gotten in the past, I'm Vietnamese and I'm proud of it. There's nothing wrong with me.
Obviously, yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, I don't think anyone should. And I feel sorry for like people who have to feel the need to go through some kind of change to fit in with the people that they're hanging out with.
It's also like, why do I have to fit in?
Yeah. But I guess like that's not...
I think that brings up like a whole lot of other stuff with me and my confidence in myself.
Because most people,
I think,
would want to fit in.
Part of like my ability to get over the racism that I've experienced was my confidence in just me being me, and if you don't accept me, you can just leave. I don't care, because I will continue to be unapologetically me. Wow, I actually said that properly. I can never say it properly.
Because you went to a school that was predominantly white, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Primary school.
Yeah.
Like, well, like, I'll just outline my school life for everyone on the internet. So I started out at a school that was predominantly Middle Eastern.
Oh, never mind.
And then I moved houses, right? And I went to a school that was predominantly Asian for like a few months until I got into OC, and then the school I went to was predominantly white. That entire area didn't really have that many Asians in it. So there was a very stark contrast between my classes and every single other class in the school. And do I want to talk about this?
You don't have to.
I mean, I'll just put it out on the internet. I don't care anymore.
Okay.
But basically, a lot of the times it was little things. It was a lot of little things that added up in the 2 years that I was at that school. But basically, some kids decided that it was okay to discriminate us based on the fact that we're not like them. But it was interesting because at the same time, there were Asian students in their classes that didn't get any of this hate. There was like, so there was part of it that was like purely just because we were the OC class.
Was it a thing back then that like it's not cool to be smart?
I think for them, yeah. Like, I think there was that mentality that like, oh, just because you're smart, like, doesn't mean you belong here. And like, I think there was also like an issue because we all came from different schools to this school instead of like how the rest of them all just grew up around the same group of people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At the same time. So like that definitely contributed to it, but that doesn't excuse the fact that they told us to go back to where we came from. They teased us about our race. There were a lot of issues. It wasn't purely based on race. There was like issues because we were OC. But those kids were never punished.
And I think
like, it was escalated to the principal, but when the parents were called in, nothing happened.
Yeah, and I think that at that age, you have to blame the parents for it. The parents like brought up their kids, and if you're not teaching your child that it's wrong, how are they ever going to learn? Well, I guess they will end up learning because they're going to grow up and they're going to be...
The thing is, they're either going to have a reality check when they grow up, or
yeah,
they just live the rest of their lives as being
racist. Yeah.
I was going to say stuff that was more offensive, but I stopped myself.
What is... Okay.
I'm trying not to swear on this podcast. I think I've already done it before,
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay if we swear, I guess. It's okay. But yeah, like, and I think in primary school, like in your case, it was really bad because everyone there was mainly white.
We
like,
were
that's got
the
to be
minority, definitely.
Yeah. I guess like I remember in my primary school, like every time I would be with friends and I had to talk to my parents, like call them or something, I would be really afraid to like speak Cantonese in front of my friends because it would be like afraid that people would make fun of us, and people did.
This brings up
like,
a whole nother topic for me as well. Like, you know, when your parents speak English, like I don't know about your parents, but my parents don't speak.
Yeah, like broken.
It's like broken English.
This is gonna make me cry.
And I used to be so embarrassed by that. Like, I used to correct my mom when she said stuff. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, why did I do that? Like, correcting to some extent, but the attitude that I had when I was correcting was very...
No, I know what you mean, because... And I feel like I don't even blame you because, like... Yeah, no, I know what you mean, though. And I feel like a lot of immigrant parents' children would have gone through the same thing. And also, like... Oh, what were you... Oh, sorry.
Are you okay?
Yes, I am always okay. This brings up the topic of like immigrant parents. It's not really about racism. Oh, I guess like somewhat, but I think that it's so impressive how they were able to move to Australia, right? Because I think
and like leave everything behind.
Yeah, like your entire family behind. And in my parents' case, I don't think they had a lot of money to begin with anyway, and their English wasn't even that good. So like to move to a country where you don't even and language is probably that one thing that you kind of like communication, you need that to kind of get around, right? Like I would never have the guts to like move to China because I don't really know how to speak Mandarin. And so like moving to a whole new country where you don't really know the language too well and you don't have that much money to start off with. Like you have enough, but it's not like enough to like comfortably just do whatever you want. And I think that's so like I could never do that. But then again, I think like they did that so we could never do that. Like we didn't have to think about doing that. Like
I think it's just we can't imagine it because we were never at the point that we felt the need to do something like that, but our parents were. Because I know that in Vietnam, my dad's family wasn't that well off. My mom's was like better, but not by a lot.
Yeah.
And they weren't like, it wasn't like they were leaving that much behind in terms of actual wealth, but they were leaving behind kind of everything that they knew, and they were going to start off somewhere else.
Yeah, and like just having to...
I think my mom was 19. Like, she was literally
Really?
my age. Yeah.
Whoa. I think my parents were a bit older. Like, it was 1 year before they had my brother. I need to calculate it, but I don't actually remember what age. But 19 is really, really young.
Yeah, my mum was around my age when she came to Australia. So, like, imagine, like, someone like me having to leave everything behind and moving across the world just so that their kids could have a better opportunity.
And it's
actually really scary.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Yeah.
The reality hit me, like, around these few years because, like, I've been getting closer to the age where my mom was at when she left everything behind.
Mm-hmm.
It was like...
And you're just putting yourself in her
I
shoes,
cannot
right?
imagine myself having that kind of ability and, like, just having the resolve that it's like, I'm gonna move with this dude that I've been dating across the world where I have no other family, because my dad moved here with his family. Only his two sisters stayed in Vietnam, but for my mom it was literally just her.
So you have like a bit of family here, right?
Yeah, I do. It's
Yeah.
mostly my dad's family. My mom's family is all in Vietnam.
It's really hard for us to imagine though, and honestly I think that's a good thing, because that means that what our parents did,
Our parents have reached their goal.
yeah, it's like paid off. And honestly, like they had to build a whole life, like a whole new life for themselves. And yeah, like speaking, going back to the thing that you said about correcting your parents' English, like honestly, I don't think we knew any better, right? Like I did the same thing, and
I still do it, like, but not with the same
Yeah.
attitude. I think now we've managed to joke about it because I think my parents have just like been like, oh, we're like this. I can't really change it that much at this point, and it's gonna stick with us. Because my dad, when he speaks English, like my mom speaks English like pretty fluently, I'd
same
say.
with my mom now.
But, or like she does have grammatical errors that are like normal. I do that too now. I don't even speak proper English anymore, honestly. But my dad's English is very interesting. No one can understand it except for us. It's like when he says words, he cuts off half of it. He only
Like
says
not
the
even
first
sentence,
half.
but like words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's like, you cannot, there's like literally no sounds, or like it's just completely incorrect sounds at the end of the word. You know the brand Breville?
Burberry.
The Breville.
Yes,
appliances brand. My dad says Breville.
Okay, no, but like, it's close enough for you to. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And I think,
But I feel like someone outside of the context
yeah, I know.
wouldn't understand. Yeah.
Because like my parents.
But it's also gotten to a point where we just tease him about it. It's like, it's really funny now. But back then, when we weren't as comfortable with just being us, yeah, it wasn't like that.
And I honestly, like, I don't think my parents have ever mentioned it before. And I've never really asked either. But I'm pretty sure that they probably would have had to go through some form of racism when they came here. I just feel like, and I feel so protective of my parents when it comes to racism, because I just feel like even people in like adulthood, I feel like a lot of them still carry that mentality.
Fear.
Yeah. And like you see that because
Yeah.
like those kids at your primary school, like their parents just didn't do anything about it, right?
Because they were like scared of possible repercussions. Like, oh, it's like, what if we complain about this? Does it mean my child might not get into selective school? Like, if I complain about this, would my child get kicked out of this school? It was like a lot of that kind of fear.
From the Asian parents or the white parents?
The Asian parents. Because I think someone can correct me if I'm not remembering this correctly, but after the fact that we found out that nothing happened, my teacher did tell us, like, if we want this escalated, we would have to bring in our parents, because our parents' opinion would be respected by the school.
But I feel like that's not really right.
Most parents were like scared.
Like if the students are saying that they feel like this is happening, the school should listen. Like even though they're kids.
It's like parents' word over teacher's word in a sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But there was another thing, another time. So in high school, I went to one high school in the north that was pretty like mixed, and then I moved to another school, and that school like basically 99.99% Asian.
Yeah.
It's famous, honestly. But basically, you know how we have prefects, right?
Wait, sorry. So, which school? Are we talking about high school or?
High school.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The one I graduated from.
Okay, got it.
But you know how like the school prefects, right? And they usually have somewhat of a social media presence to like get announcements to the students and like to promote like events within the school, right?
Yes.
So you know the intro to who your prefects are thingy?
The what?
Like, you know how like the prefects take photos? It's like, introducing your like, captains, introducing your vice captains and stuff, right? I think it was on our senior prefect's picture. There was one random lady that was like talking about, oh wow, like what an Australian school, like definitely seeing some diversity here.
What? Really?
Like it was something along the lines of, it was like, I just remember it being slightly sarcastic, like being like, oh, this, like calling us an Australian school. Like it was like she was basically complaining about the lack of white kids in the classes.
Honestly, like that just makes me mad because like white people, wait, I don't know if, no, I'm just gonna say it, like white people have enough representation everywhere you go. Like you can't throw in white people and say that's diversity. You throw in the people of color and say that's diversity because white people make up the majority.
You throw in the underrepresented people and you call it diversity.
Exactly.
Or you have even, it's like even across every single race. Honestly, I don't even believe in like exact evenness in like distribution because like honestly, there's gonna be communities, there's gonna be groups, and it's gonna be like that. But it's not about having even numbers of everyone in every single place. It's about treating everyone equally regardless of who they are, like what their skin color is or where they came from.
Exactly. And like it's not like your school discriminated against other races.
It was literally just do a test. If you're smart enough, you get in.
Yeah. And what about like being Australia? Like literally like the most famous Australian school citizens in Australia. And
we have Australian passports, we have an Australian birth certificate.
And honestly, if it wasn't for your school, like what, right? Like like we need that school so that we look a bit better. We can't.
Okay.
But anyway,
yeah, that's basically some of our students were actually like biting back at her and telling her like what she said was incorrect, and like I think some other random people also joined in, and then at the end she deleted her comment.
Yeah, good.
So I don't even have receipts anymore.
Yeah. And also, like, oh, we're at 52 minutes. I feel like, okay, personally, I don't think I've really gone through, like, direct racism, right? Like, no one's said to me before, like, go back to your own country, you look to whatever, this.
But have you ever felt scared?
Okay, see, I was going to get to that. See, scared isn't exactly, like, scared for my own safety, I guess not. But I've always felt like whenever people hear about China, they hear, like, the accent of Chinese people speaking in, like, videos that are playing. I feel like people are always laughing at that. And it's always little things.
It's always, like, Asian characters in mainstream media, well, like, now it's less so because I feel like there's a lot more representation. But mainstream TV, movies and stuff have kind of framed Asians to be the funny guy. Like, yes, some of us are funny, but not all of us are. Like, Asian does not equal funny, so why are you putting every Asian character as the comedian, the one that's laughed at all the time?
I always feel like
Or
Asians,
the nerd.
yeah, okay, I was gonna say that, like the really, really smart nerd person.
Yeah, with, like, the thick glasses and, like, dresses very, like...
Oh yeah, and usually in terms of appearance, they look a bit musty.
They're always, like, portrayed as, like, a little bit, like, smaller. Like, their presence is always, like, smaller, and they have to downplay who they are and stuff like that. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
maybe there are
And
smart
this is what
Asians
I
out there.
mean.
There's smart people everywhere, like, no matter what race they are.
Yeah. But it's not always Asians.
So, like, why is it that Asians are the ones represented
No, this
like
is what
that?
I mean before. Like in movies and shows and on media, Asians are always portrayed through their, like, stereotypes, and then kids learn that and then they bring it to school, right? And that's how they really get laughed at. So I guess, like, it's not just the parents, it's like media as well. And yeah, like I always felt a bit weird. No, not weird. Like, I guess uncomfortable that people kind of thought like that too. And, like, every time that there would be something about, like, Chinese coming up, I would always just, like, prepare myself for people laughing at it. Like, yeah, I can't really remember. I just remember talking about it to my friends during camp. And I don't think they really understood where I was coming from. And I don't know if it was, like, just me in my mind thinking that, or if it was actually happening. But I do feel like people a lot of times did make fun of Chinese people. And it was always, like, about the accent, you know. There would be, like, I don't even want to say it, so I'm not going to say it. But they'd, like, you know, say, like, names, and it would always be said in a joking way, right? And I think that every time they said it in a joking way, it was considered okay by the other kids too, because it's like, oh, at least they're not being serious about it. They're just joking about it. But that probably has a worse impact than saying it directly, because when you say it as a joke, it happens so often that everyone just kind of becomes numb to it, and it's just like, okay, this is the normal now.
And it's also like, you personally think it's normal for you to be treated like that.
Yeah, and that's...
And it's not just about, like, how it's being normalized that, like, other people do that to you. It's like, it's being normalized that Asians will be treated like that in society, and we just have to accept that, which shouldn't be true.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
Were your parents ever scared to go out when coronavirus hit? Like, in terms of being attacked?
Oh, I think my mum mentioned it once before, but I think they were just more scared about the actual disease, not the racism part of it.
I don't think my parents were, like, that scared about the disease, because there were no hotspots near me. But my mum did mention quite a few times that she was scared about like being hit when she was out because she was Asian, and that at that point like masks were mostly used by the Asian community, not really the like non-Asian community.
Yeah, and it's like that little thing again where people would
Yeah.
just laugh at it because...
And I'll laugh at you when you get
Yeah.
coronavirus. But
Oh.
no, it's
Sorry, I
like
thought you were talking
it was
to
like-
me.
Oh no, no, but it's like it was a basic method of protection from coronavirus. It was the way that we knew to protect ourselves. So why should we be hit by it? Like, why should we be hit because of that? It's messed up. It's like, I think the moment that the mask mandate came in recently, my mom was like, now you have to do it too. It's not just because we are Asian, we do it.
Yeah, but speaking of that, like, even now, I feel like people don't wear masks on the train.
Yeah, most people don't. And I kind of get it because, like, we haven't had cases in so long except for that one
Yeah.
security guard. But I
Wait.
know...
He never spread around?
No, yeah, there was no spread.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I feel like I
but-
don't keep up, but yes.
But now that, like, vaccines are rolling out, it's very easy for, like, someone to be asymptomatic because you know how, like, it doesn't stop you from transmitting the disease. It just stops you from getting sick.
Right, yes?
Yeah, so, like, there is that risk. And I think it's probably because of that they're not removing the mask mandate. Yeah, the moment that they were like that, I was like, it's not just an Asian thing now.
And because it's kind of getting around the 1 hour mark, I wanted to mention one more thing before we kind of wrap up, which was like, I think when I was younger, there was like Chinese school, right? I don't know if you ever went.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
Yeah, I went to it for like a couple of years.
yeah. And I think like, because it was different to everyone else around me, I hated learning it, right?
I
And
loved
honestly,
it.
like now looking, and I remember this very specific conversation I had with my dad, and he was like, "Oh, you know, in the future you're going to look back and then you're going to say like, oh, why didn't I stay longer?" Which is true now because I barely can speak Mandarin, but it was like back then I just wanted to
Fit in
so badly that I kind of threw away like part of my culture just so I could be like the other people. And you know, and it goes further, not just like Chinese school, but like even lunches that I brought to school. I would hate bringing rice to school just because no one else did that. And I was like, oh, I need to make a sandwich now. But honestly, part of the reason was because it was lighter. But there was like so many things that I just felt that I needed to change just because no one else did that. And while a lot of it was to do with race, I do think that it wasn't because that they were being racist. I think it was just like the fact that I just wanted to fit in. You know, like if everyone had an iPhone and I had no phone, I would have wanted to get an iPhone as well, just so I could be like the other people. Except this time it was just like race or culture that caused the difference in the people.
It's sad that like so many kids these days still grow up having to feel that way. And I don't know, there was this one TikTok that I saw being shared around like across every single platform, but it was about this white guy having banh mi. I can't pronounce Vietnamese words properly because I don't speak Vietnamese, although I am Vietnamese, but it was like one of the different types, and like he was making fun of the name, and the response from this Viet girl was like, you don't get to enjoy our food and our culture while also making fun of it.
That's so true though, right?
It's like, you know how like pho has become so hype?
Yeah.
And it's like, no offense, but I've noticed that a lot of people don't actually know how to have pho properly. And at the same time, it's like, you don't get to make fun of our culture while also making parts of our culture like hype.
Oh, yeah.
If you know what I mean.
And I think
Like, if you're gonna like parts of our culture, you have to accept us too.
I think that's kind of where like cultural appropriation also comes into the conversation.
Yeah, because isn't there the whole like appropriation of traditional clothing from like a variety of different Asian countries?
I think I was with you that day in H&M. Where
Oh yeah, you said it looked kind of cool, and I said I felt uncomfortable. Like yes, it does look cool.
No, I
for the
know
first
what you mean.
moment, but then it's like the first moment you see it, it's like it's cool, but at the same time, it was. I don't know how to like tread the line between, oh, this is like a very good way to modernize our culture and also bring like traditional elements of our culture into modern fashion, but at the same time, I don't know how to feel about a white person doing that to my culture.
No, I know what you mean. Because, okay, for background context, I don't know how to say it in English. I don't know what, like, how do people pronounce?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's anyway, if you just search up.
Just say it in Cantonese and I'll translate.
Okay,
if I can.
K-pole.
Oh, it's like that.
There's no English for
it. They say chi pao. They say chi pao. That's what I've heard people say it like that. They just say chi pao. Like,
oh, that sounds so ugly.
I think the pinyin for it is like QIPAO, and they just read it like they would in English.
Okay, whatever. At least it's not like. At least they didn't translate it.
At least they didn't make up another name for
into
it.
some like, I don't know.
I don't think there's a like proper way to. But anyway,
if you search up like Chinese traditional dress, you'll see what we're talking about. And in H&M, they took that kind of pattern because it's a very distinct pattern, right? And also a very distinct shape. But I don't think they used the shape of it. It's like they didn't use like the traditional shape of it. They just used the pattern and chucked it on some clothes. That's all I remember about it. And so that's what Kelly was talking about, like the modernizing it. And I feel like if I was to just see someone wearing that, I would have thought like, I don't know if I would have.
Oh, wow. Like, I don't know. It's like very mixed feelings because at the same time, it's like, yes, it did look good and I really liked how it was modernized. I just don't know, like, how I feel about, like, there's gonna be people out there buying those clothes without knowing what it means and, like, what value it holds to certain people. Yeah. And there's gonna also be people disrespecting the patterns and being like, oh, why don't you just change it into this and stuff like that.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I think that black people and the black community have it so much worse because there's so many things that they have started and it's just been basically whitewashed. And like, for example, wearing weaves and wigs and like, there's a lot of like, well, I only know this because of like, do you know Jackie Aina?
No.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway, she's like a black YouTuber. But she talks about like how there's also like I forgot how you say it, but like language that the like black people use. And it's just been used by white people now, and it's just like so it's just been like really normalized. And she was saying like, oh, you know, like there's nothing.
It's like, that's the thing. It's still the same issue of like, I don't know if you can't really tell if people are doing it out of respect or like they're just doing it because it seems cool. Because like there's gonna be people that like admire the culture and would like to kind of like just show it off because they like that culture. But then there's also going to be people that are like, oh yeah, I'm doing it just because it's cool and like some influencer did it and stuff like that.
I think you're able to tell when people do it out of respect. Like Jacinda Ardern, when she wore the hijab for... Oh, what was it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I saw the news thingy, but I don't remember what it was for. But like, yeah.
Oh, I think it was like the bombing in the mosque. Anyway,
but
that was very clearly out of respect.
It's like,
right?
Also like when it is sold, like when items are sold, like we saw that dress. Was it a dress or a skirt? I think it was a skirt.
Wait, I thought it was a top.
No, there was like multiple pieces.
Oh, I don't know.
I remember it being multiple pieces with like similar patterns. But it's like when I see that in a store, it's like I can't tell who will buy it and if those people will respect it. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think like the creators, they made it.
It's like that fine line between like, oh, what is inspiration and what is plagiarism?
Yeah, I guess so. And I don't think you can really tell because obviously if you
only the creator will know.
Yeah, but like if it was like a white person creating it, I feel like they would have done it just to capitalize on it.
Because Asian culture is becoming so hype now. Like, like K-pop becoming mainstream has brought Asian culture into the light.
Oh yeah. But then also like people make fun of people who like K-pop because it's weird. There's boys wearing makeup.
That's not just a K-pop
honestly,
thing.
Just call yourself a sexist and go home, right? Like we don't
honestly,
need your opinion.
Like one word catches everything. It's like stop the discrimination. I don't care what it's about. Just stop the discrimination. Like it's not limited to race. It's not limited to sexuality. It's literally just stop the discrimination.
Yeah. And I think I was watching this interview of this woman. So and she was talking about rights for trans people, and the interviewer kept saying like, oh, so you're a trans right activist, and they were like, no, I'm a human rights activist. And I feel like that's so, like, people don't realize that enough, that it's like human rights involves everyone. Like there's no need to like,
no matter who you are, you should have your basic human rights have to be respected because you're still human.
Yeah. And I also think religion plays a part in it, but anyway, I don't know too much about it. I can't really talk about that part.
I don't want to say the wrong thing because I don't know too much.
Yeah, but it's like, don't be too conservative and traditional if it's hurting or if you're like limiting rights of another community that you're not even part of.
And at the same time, be proud of who you are, I guess. Like,
yeah, I guess that's the main lesson that we want everyone to take away. It's like, regardless
be
of
unapologetically you.
Yes, you did
said it again.
That's actually an
I had
album
to say it
by
super
Kelsey.
slowly.
Unapologetically. Okay, anyway.
It's very hard to say.
Yeah, so we want everyone to know, like, it's honestly okay to just unapologetically just be yourself. Be proud of, like, the culture that you were brought up in, your own skin, whatever features that you have, because that's what makes you. And
yeah,
don't, if you can, just resist changing it for anyone else.
Change it for you if you want to change it.
Yeah, like
Don't
it's okay
do it
to
for
change
anyone else.
stuff. Like people who go through like Botox, plastic surgery, like it's okay. But if you're just purely changing it just so you can feel more accepted by other people, then listen to this podcast again. Yeah.
Listen to this episode again.
Yeah. Keep listening so we get more views.
Yeah, so I think with that we'll just wrap up this episode. It's getting quite long. So make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and then also follow us this podcast is also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Leave us a review and also share it with your friends. Share it with anyone that you think needs to hear any of the messages that we have sent out. And with that, I think that's it for this episode.
Thank you, and we'll see you guys next week, Sunday at 1 p.m.
More like we're recording it right after this.
Yeah, we are. Manipulating time.
Okay.
Anyway, yes. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.